Hello everyone and welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf. We're going to do a video today that is, I think, to my shame. So today I was watching some BookTube and Cozy Reader Kelly put out this video saying all of the books that she's currently in the middle of and she put down for some reason or another and she needs to finish. And it made me think. I know I do that all the time and it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's just I'm not feeling the book. Sometimes it's I'm not in the right mood. I am a mood reader, but at the same time, I'm also someone who, if I'm not enjoying a book, I put it down really easily. And sometimes that means I go through books pretty quickly. I read maybe 100 pages. I'm not feeling it, so then I put it down and I move on for a while. And often those kind of books that I'm like still not interested in at a while later, I just get rid of. However, I have a stack here, I think of like 25 books that I still own that I've all started. And I would probably need to restart almost all of them because I just don't remember where we are. So let's get into this shameful list of books I am in the middle of and have never pushed myself to finish. I'm also gonna say that this stack is not organized by any reason. They're just stacked. So here we go. And I'm not gonna be going much detail, I don't think, unless I remember why I put it down. So this one is Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. I hope I'm not butchering his name. This one I remember trying to read with my cousin Megan, and we both were not massively into classics, I think at the time, or French classics at least. And we both were struggling with the idea of her cheating on her husband at the time. And now that I've read a couple more French classics, I am aware that that's kind of a trend. So I'd be a little more comfortable with it. And I've read several more of these kind of books. So I want to read this. I've been holding on to it. So I need to eventually read Madame Bovary. I don't remember where I was at, although I would need to restart. Another one that I did start is Sensibility and Sensibility and Sea Monsters. This is not by Jane Austen, but this is source material by Jane Austen and adapted by Ben H. Winters. I think I got like 50 pages, maybe 20 pages in, and I just couldn't handle the changes, but I own this, so I've started it technically and I haven't finished it, so that's another one I own for that reason. One that I started in Victober, and I struggled to get anywhere into it, and that is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. I just came off in September. This is gonna be a little bit of a long story time for this one, but in September, I read Middlemarch with Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, and that was not a good experience for me. So coming into Victober, I did not want to read any more big Victorian novels. And then this was the one that was the group book, and I tried reading it again with my cousin Megan. She read it. I did not. I think I got like 50 pages, 70 pages in, and I just didn't have the time, or I didn't care enough to put in time. So that's what I still need to get to eventually. Another one is The Hypnotist by Lars Kepler. This one is a translated book by a couple, and I remember buying this one solely because I heard that not the author, but the main character has migraines or headaches on a regular basis. This is a detective in a Nordic country. I don't remember which one it is, but it's a Nordic one. Now, when I started this one, I did not realize how gritty it is. It is extremely gritty and like way more than most thrillers are. So this is probably borderline like horror or more than borderline horror. And I wasn't expecting that. So I put it down because I was not prepared for that kind of level. So one day I will try again when I now know what I'm getting into. Then I also have Loot for the Taking by Dawn Levers. This one is inspired by real events that happened in Vancouver. There's a heist, I think, that took place in Vancouver where the robbers were caught with stealing from a bank or something. And this is kind of exploring what would have happened if they hadn't been caught, I think is the idea. So I bought it because it's a BC author and about a BC story. Also heist is a buzzword for me, so that was a no-brainer. And I started it. I don't remember why I put it down, so need to restart that one though when I do get to it. On to the next section. First one is Home Before Dark by Riley Sagar. This is like one of my most shameful ones. I think it's because it's so spooky. I'm so scared to read this one. And it's all because every time I think I should read Home Before Dark, it's like at night and I'm home alone. That's not a good time to read this book. So I'm halfway through. I remember exactly where I am. I just need to like go to the beach when it's sunny and warm outside and read it outside on a nice warm day, and I won't be so freaked out, I hope. So that's my plan for reading that one. Then I have a big, massive classic, which is Bleak House. I remember Katie from Books and Things doing a read-along of this book. Oh, it was like 4 years ago, maybe, maybe more. I got that far into it, and that's pretty far into this chunker of a book, and I was enjoying it, but I just put it down for some reason or another and didn't continue. I think I remember where I was. So even though it was so long ago, I remember what was happening, the different characters or different storylines that were happening in this book. So it's not like it was forgettable. I just need to get back into it. So yeah, let me know if I should do that one for a Timeless Tome coming up, because I need to push to get into this one again. Then I have The Five by Hallie Rubenhall. This one I started reading for Nonfiction November this last year, and I was having a rough time. This last like 6 months has been really hard for reading physically and emotionally if I'm not in the right mindset. And so this just was hard. I remember reading the first section of about the first victim of Jack the Ripper. So I definitely finished one section and I was enjoying it, but honestly, it was just really hard material to read and my brain just couldn't handle it. So I had to put it down, but I do want to get to it eventually. Then I have Maria by Maria von Trapp. So this is the true story behind The Sound of Music. I picked this up for last Nonfiction November in 2019. And this one was very preachy, which is something I wasn't hoping for or didn't really want in a nonfiction that wasn't a faith nonfiction. If it's a nonfiction that's about, like specifically about how you live your life as a believer, then that's okay, that's expected. But one of these is just, it was too much for me. But also this, I was wanting the story of how she lived and how she lived in Austria and how she met the Von Trapps and how they escaped. And where I got, you can see my bookmark still, I think she had just met the Von Trapps. And so it was like not even, almost halfway in and she hadn't even met the Von Trapps, or she was just meeting them for the first time. And so it was like really slow paced. So I just didn't want to put any more effort in at that point. So I decided to wait on that one. My next one is another nonfiction for Nonfiction November of 2019. And that was Agatha Christie, The Woman and Her Mysteries by Gillian Gill. I got, I think, 2-3 chapters into this, and this is not a long one at all. It's like 220 pages, and the editing was not done properly in this book. So I just remember it had a lot of typos in it, and that's something that I really struggle with in reading is typos. I just don't like it. My brain is too busy fixing it. So I just was struggling, but I wanted to know the true story behind her, or at least a biography of her. So I know I want to read her own biography one day, her autobiography, but I was like, this one would be great to read. And I've been holding on to it for a very long time. So I do want to continue or want to try it again before I get rid of it officially. Then because I'm filming this on the 10th, I am not officially done these books, so I'm going to count them even though they're on my TBR for April. I'm going to say that I have not finished Rich People Problems, and I have started it. This one I got like 50 pages into before. I was enjoying it, but honestly, not enough time to get into a big book, and time got away from me. So like I said, this is on my top priority list for April. And then a book that I wish I finished a long time ago is To Dwell Among Cedars by Connelly Cazette. I still have my bookmark in, it's still a third of the way through. This is a biblical fiction that I was enjoying. I wasn't able to finish it in time for my book club meeting. And when that happened, I just kind of gave up on reading it. I think my brain was like, no more deadlines, so I don't have to rush it anymore. And I just put off finishing it. That's how my brain works. If I don't have a deadline, I don't read it anymore. So I need to put that on a TBR sometime soon so I can finish it. Another one is The Woman in the Castle by Jessica Shattuck. This one I started on ebook and then I found a physical copy and I just stopped reading it in general. I remember that this one's a multi-generational, I think about different women who live in a castle throughout military invasions, like in World War II, I think. I don't remember anything. I have to start from scratch. One that I got from the library, was enjoying, but it was really heavy, was The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. Now I remember this one was really heavy on architecture. So I don't remember how far I got. I got it from the library the first time around. I think I got like 200 pages in and I was enjoying it, but at the same time, it took me so long to get that far because of how much talk there was about architecture and just designing, and I just didn't care about that. So it just took a while. And it looks pretty small, but it's not that tiny. I think it's like 400 pages. Yeah, 450 pages. So it's not that tiny. And one day I will finish it. I bought this used, so now I have a reason to finish this book. And then I have one more in my hands currently, and that is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. I started this for a book club, and I was super confused. I was like, I don't get this thing at all. And then I went to a book club, and they're like, you need to start over entirely. And then I unhauled one of these, and then someone else from another book club gave me this copy for Christmas, and they said, I think you'll really like it. So I do want to try again. I want to start fresh, and I want to give it another shot. I remember being really confused about why the handbag was talking, I think it was. I don't remember. I was confused. So that's all there was to it. So my next one is Annie Burroughs' second adult book, I think, which is The Truth According to Us. I have my green sticky note bookmark in there. This one I think is adult, and it's about the Great Depression era, about two sisters, if I remember right. It's about the States. Annie Burroughs wrote The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society when her aunt wasn't able to finish the project. So she kind of went in and did the final editing and the final drafts. She kind of took over when her aunt was too ill with cancer, Marianne Schaefer, to finish the job. So Annie Burroughs, I wanted to pick up more of her work, and I was enjoying it, but I don't know why I put it down. So yeah, it was something about long lost loves and I think a newspaper. I don't remember. I would probably need to start from scratch, or at least get a review or something before I would be able to start from over again. Then I have The Penny Heart by Martine Bailey. This one I remember pretty well. So I think this one, if I don't remember the names, I will tell you about them. So Mary is a con artist. So she gets a penny, which she gets engraved with her name to give to, I think, the guy who conned her, or like who abandoned her and basically ruined her chances. And then there's this girl named Grace, that's right, this girl named Grace, according to the back, who she just got married, and it's not a very good situation. So it's called The Penny Heart, and I think their paths intertwine. and maybe Not for the Betterment of Grace. I don't remember too much, but I was like, about that. I was a third of the way through. I was enjoying it though. As per almost all of these books, I think I was enjoying them when I put them down. Well, some of them, not so much. Then I have one that I am kind of scared to go back to be honest, and that is With No One as Witness by Elizabeth George. This one, I still have my chapters receipt in chapter 9. I remember reading this for Timeless Tomes, or not Timeless Tomes, for Tome Topple readathon. I started it and I didn't finish it in that time. And I just was, I think life happened. I remember reading this at one of my cousin's volleyball tournaments, like in between the games. I remember doing that. I don't remember much else. I know that this book is about a serial killer who was killing Black boys, and it takes place in London, and it's about how the police are perceived as doing nothing, or they were doing really nothing until a white boy is killed, and then they want the citizens are in an uproar because of the police only doing something when the white boy was killed. And then there's also, I remember, a Black police officer who is suddenly being pushed through the ranks to lead the team to make it look like there's an equality. So this is a very racially driven book. And I don't know how comfortable I feel with Elizabeth George being the author of this storyline. I don't think she is a woman of color. I'm 99% sure she's not a woman of color. And that just kind of makes me feel uncomfortable too. So I don't know. I need to figure out what I want to do with this book. Otherwise, I should just get rid of it. But yeah. Anyways, my last small book is Born Supremacy, which is also on my April TBR, but technically it's not been finished. This one I got like 50 pages into. This is a sequel to Born Identity, and I just was not in a good headspace to remember all of the plot. This is a very fast-paced, heavy action, but also heavy detail book. You just need to know a lot of what's going on, and you can't be tripped up by too much information. You can't be misstepped. So it was something that I really was not in a good headspace to read back in January, and now I really want to try and get into it. Although this might be a good summer read, however, I'm really trying for April. So yeah, this one is the second one of 3, and I know that the first 3 books were written by Robert Ludlum, and then the rest of the series that are written were written by another person. So it's kind of like a spin-off, or same character maybe, but different author. I don't know if I'll ever read those, but I do want to read the ones I own, and this is the first that I haven't read yet. So the last one is the biggest, and I can't fit it on these shelves, to be honest. So that's Prairie Girl by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I am about a third, or maybe 2/3 of the way, or not a third, maybe half of the way through. And I was really enjoying this, but this book just takes a lot of effort to read. So when you're sitting down reading it, you have to like sit down. You can't just like read it as you're busy about. You have to actually like sit down intentionally and read it. And every time you read it, this is a good page to show an example. So you have here the story, and then footnotes, which are in a lot smaller font, and you can have pictures. And then you can have maps. It's just a lot of heavy information, like a lot of intensive reading that you need to do, which is really great, but it's also a really big book to read it in. So yes, this book is 400 pages, but it's more like along the lines of 800 pages or maybe 1,000 pages, just based on the page size. So that's why I haven't finished it yet. I do want to finish it this year though, because I don't want to let it just sit here forever. So these are all of the books that I have started and I am still in the middle of that I own. Please let me know if I should prioritize any of them that I am maybe scared to, or that I just haven't found the time to push up that list. But also, let me know if I should get rid of some of the ones that I'm scared of, if you think I won't enjoy some of them. Like The Hypnotist, or with no one as witness? What do you think? Should I just unhaul it? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please also let me know what you do with these kind of books. Do you just hard DNF? I rarely do that. But do you hard DNF or do you just wait and see? I'd love to talk down in the comments. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, please like. And I will see you next time in another video. Bye for now.